So I've just pre-sanded some of the parts, and I'm going to show you guys an issue with the hand. Now there is a really bad seam line, or sorry, molding line down the thumb. It wraps around all the way through to the pinky. I've just swapped over a new blade on my knife, and I'm going to show you how I get rid of these without really sanding. What I'm going to do is just lightly get your knife and rub against that line, and you'll see that that line is gone. You're just basically preparing this for a light sand. I'm gonna go on the other side, and I've actually got a nub mark there from where I'd cut it off the sprue. It's pretty bad actually. So I'm removing the excess, but you should only really do this with a sharp blade, a brand new one. Swap it over, because you need your knife to be as sharp as possible, so you get a clean cut on that mold line. This isn't so bad because that's part of like the ends of the fingers of the glove, and I think that'll do. I've got some 400 grit sandpaper, and all I'm going to do now is just rub that out now. You can work in a circular motion as well. Rub lightly, not too hard. You don't want to lose that panel line there. You can see that. You go around the edges. I mean, you won't probably see that, but just work into it like that, and you should have a nice looking part. This has a little bit of rough edges around the sides, so you might just want to fill that in, and on the end of here there are some indentations. Again, just go in there, sand them off. They're like circles. It's where the mold, where the plastic has been put into the mold. So I'm just gonna clean the ends off. Like I said, this is a retro kit, so there are bound to be a few misdemeanors in there. Just rubbing lightly. Luckily there's no panel line that falls down from there. You probably won't see it anyway because it's hidden underneath. But that's what you're looking at, guys. That's the kind of finish you should be achieving. Going on to putting the forearm and hand together. That goes upside down like that, and this section fits on there. But before you do that, you've got these, if I can get it off, you've got like a ball joint section here. You can see that very well, and you need to obviously glue these together. So let me get some glue. I'll be using a mixture of Mr. Cement Deluxe and my new found friend, which is the Tamiya Extra Thin Cement. So what I'm going to do first is carefully go around the edges. You can be quite liberal with it. By the way, this is a quick setting, so you want to work a little bit fast. You don't want to be too slow. That part goes like that. That's what I like about these Tamiya glues, is the brush, because it is very, very, very thin. There you go. Get that part. Ooh, I forgot. I made a mistake. You should really. Doesn't matter. I can reapply some glue later. I'm gonna use a thicker glue for this part here, because I want this part to bond. I'm just gonna swap that over. Like I said, I'm only human. We all make mistakes. Ooh. I'll get a little clip and just apply some pressure on there. Ooh la la. Okay, get another clip here. And just maybe let that dry for a little bit. Obviously I made a little bit of a mistake, but as I do that, I can cut out another part, which is B2. This is just over here. Remember to always cut off the runner. There you go. It's a nice clean cut there, guys. Cut it into sections, leaving about that much off the end. And then I will go in with my UMP sanding stick. I like to go down in downward strokes. Very lightly, you don't have to go mad. Yeah, you don't want to go too far. It is on a lip. Buff it out a little bit. Left with something like that. Good clean, good finish there. This is probably okay to put this in that joint now. Make sure that it's universal. Like I said, these Nitto kits are kind of not the best for joint fittings. That's why this kit might be a little bit challenging, but don't worry, you can just reapply that glue. Be careful not to get it into this ball joint here if you can. Try and avoid that as best as possible. Put a little bit more glue on here. Because what this glue will do, hopefully, it will merge the plastic, it will fuse and bond, melt even. Just put it in like that. That was lucky. Just want to check that this part goes into there. Oh, that's a bit strange. I wonder if that's supposed to like click in, or if I need to add some more pressure. Seems to work. Okay, so that bit does clip down, but I think it'll need some glue on there. As you can see right now, the glue isn't adhering, so just go back in be again, feed it into that crack. Just check the other side. Again, feed it in there. What I'll do is quickly peg that like that. Find an area to grip, and that should hold in place. You want to leave it for a bit. It's slightly moved a little bit, as you can see here, so I'm trying to marry these parts up as best as possible so it saves me any work further down the line doing putty or pine filler or epoxy. But that seems good, so I'm just going to let that dry for a few minutes and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I've basically given the glue time to bond. I'm just checking that everything is fine. I've got everything in the right direction, how it should look like. As you can see here, this joint here doesn't look to be the best. It hasn't really connected well, maybe because I didn't remove these nubs. So what I'll do right now is take these off, push it back a little bit. They're a bit cockeyed, but I know for a fact that when I put these together that they were actually pretty square on. Sometimes that will happen, and maybe it was my mistake that I didn't let the part leave the part enough time for it to glue. But it's not really an issue because I don't think you'll be able to really see that, and you won't be able to tell that there's an error there. So what I'm going to do now that this piece is loose, so I'm going to go in with my fine again. I'm going to carefully go around this edge like that and feed it into the bottom, and hopefully the glue will just suck inside. Oh, I'm getting pinged. You should have something that looks like this. Press that down a little bit. It's going to need some pressure in there. You can move it around. You've still got time to maneuver it into position, and it should look something like this, guys. The higher end of this lip here goes down in a gradient like that. I'm just putting some more pressure in. You can apply some more glue just to lock it in, not too much. Remember, we don't want to be spending half our time sanding. Basically, I don't know if the light can pick it up, but when you've done good gluing, you should, once you've applied that pressure, get some beading here. And if you can see it very well on camera, because I've got new lights, so light in here, but you should get some beading, and that's a good sign that the parts have bonded. On this side, the parts haven't bonded as much. What you can do, another little tip, is you can just fill in that line again, go over it with some glue again, because again we want to be making sure that the parts have bonded well. So I'm going to apply the clips on again. Squeeze down a little bit of pressure. Just reposition it. Okay, so again we're going to let that dry for a little bit. As I was letting that dry, we'll move on to these sections here. Again, there was a little bit of cleanup that I need to do, and still do, because I just found a little a nipple there. I'm not quite sure if that's supposed to be part of the kit, but being a piston, I would presume that would be flat, so I'll remove that. Let me check on the other side. Yep, same issue, but not as bad. Going to should be fine, and then we'll put these two parts together. I'm not quite sure what this is. Looks like to be a part that must connect to something. It's probably the shoulder or something, which is very very different. Again, I better remove these nubs here, because that might create some issue with fitting, which I didn't do before. Naughty of me. Just gonna quickly sand that. There is a little nipple there. It's gonna indicate that it fits into that hole. Now I need to make sure that I've got the position of this correct. That should go in there. So what I'm going to do is just quickly do a dry fit. There's nothing wrong with doing this, just to make sure that the part looks good and fits well. You know, you can maneuver this, wiggle it around, make sure that it moves. And there, go with your glue again, guys. Might want to use some tweezers. I don't want to get bloody glue in my hands, obviously. If you get glue in your hands and it gets all over the kit, it's a bit of a nightmare. You know. These two do. That needs to fit in like that. This needs to go on top. If you're good at using chopsticks, then you'll be good at putting model kits together, because you do need to have steady hands, a good eye, and for some reason these Nitto kits do not like this clear, this Tamiya glue. It is a different kind of plastic that I'm used to working with. Again, just go into these gaps here. Try not to get it into that joint. You don't want the joint to glue. When we get some more paper clips, you could use clothes pegs, cheap alternative. I use these because you get very good pressure. And that seems to have worked. Again, I'm just going to let that sit there, let it dry, be patient, and we'll crack on with the other side. Get my tweezers again, guys. Normally I make my videos as a speed build, as in like I times 4 it on iMovie, but I kind of like this slow style of me building. I know some of you might not like it. If you don't, please put some comments in, but I like to build and chat to you guys, and I'd like to say a big thank you, because just recently since I posted up the Thai Striker, I've had a lot of new subscribers. So if you're new to my channel, thank you very much for watching my show. Be many more things coming out this year on my channel. Again, it hasn't adhered very well. This is very strange. It's the first time I've experienced this. Like that. Again, my trusty paper clips. Some pressure on there, some pressure on there, and just let that sit for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. 5 minutes would be better. The longer you leave it, the better. And just let that sit, guys. Make a cup of tea, have a drink, chill back, and I'll be back in a minute. In this section here, you need 2 cords or vinyl cord that you get provided in the kit. You'll need to measure them. I think they are 40mm in length, and these will feed into the ports that are at the back of the leg section at the bottom. It's a little bit fiddly, but once you get the cords cut, you have to prepare the sections that fit through. I just basically looped them first around the peg. You might want to do that first so you can get a better fit.